because I didn't have them handed out before you guys came in, I just passed them out to this class. So that's the seventh and final review worksheet for this section. And remember, your test is on Tuesday of next week. It will come in two parts. It will come in a non-calculator part, and it will come in a calculator part. To aid you in what you should be knowing for each one, on the review assignment after each of the directions, we have non-calculator or calculator. Okay? So that will aid you in your studying habits. Don't use a calculator on the non-calculator parts. You can use a calculator on the calculator parts, but you don't have to. Okay, kind of a deal. All right? So we got that going on. You will not, on the test on Tuesday, you will not be given a unit circle. Okay? You'll have to produce your own on the paper. Okay? All right? You can use your pink, or I should say not yours. We will supply for you a pink formulas or identity sheet. Okay, we'll supply you one that doesn't have any writing on it. Okay? Next. So we have that. Questions on the test, etc., etc., etc.? All right. So then today we've got 4 warm-up problems and 2 example problems. The rest of the time is yours to work. Okay? All right. So if you want to get going here on these warm-up problems, find me the reference angle, theta prime, and then find me a positive and a negative coterminal angle for each one. All right. So I always think that it helps to draw yourself a quick little sketch of where the angle actually is. Agree? So what's my theta prime? 30. Yep. My reference angle is 30 degrees. Yes. Okay. Positive coterminal angles. 510. Yes. Right. 510. 870. 11, 12, 30. How did I get those so quickly? Add 360. Add 360 every time. Okay? Negative coterminal angles. Negative 210 degrees. How did I get that one so quickly? Subtract 360. Yeah. Negative 570. Negative 8, 9, 30. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Love it. Picture for part B. I got it down here because it actually goes there. So that would give me a reference angle of 10 degrees. Yeah. Positive angles, 350. Six, 710. 1070. Negative. Negative 730.
Could you technically say negative 10?
Negative 10. negative 1090. Yes? Okay. 3 pi over 11. Where is 3 pi over 11? Quadrant 1. So what's the reference angle here in quadrant 1? 3 pi over 11. It's its own reference angle in quadrant 1. Positive coterminal, 25 pi over 11. 47 pi over 11. It's 69. 22, 69 pi over 11. Yeah. Negative. Nope, hold on. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I went in the positive direction in my brain, and I'm like, nope, I should get to 25. That was a positive one. Negative 19 pi over 11. 39, negative 41 pi over 11. Negative 63 pi over 11. Questions, comments, concerns on that one? No? Huh? Rob? All right. Negative 9 pi over 7. Where? Quadrant 2. Yep. So what is my reference angle then? Pi over 7. Let's get that, TC. Because that's like pi, right? Okay. Which is 7 pi over 7, right? Yep. So I need to get 2 more to get there. Yep, exactly. I knew what you were thinking, you just weren't saying anything. Yeah. Positive coterminal angles, I got 5 pi over 7. 19 pi over 7. 33 pi over 7. Yes? Had 14 every time. Shut up. Negative 1, I would say negative 23 pi over 7. Negative 37 pi over 7. Negative 51. But you only gotta give one of them. Questions, comments, concerns, clarification? All good? So in general, you have this written down, I think, from Tuesday. I think what day was Tuesday. Okay? So if R is the hypotenuse, remember that's what R is. So R is the hypotenuse of your triangle. Then the sine of theta is going to be y over r. Cosine will be x over r. Tangent will be y over x. This helps if you're going through a point. Okay? Then these are just reciprocals. And we find theta, well, we find our reference angle by doing the inverse tangent of y over x. But we drop negative. Yep.
You have to do this thing.
Not necessarily. Like if you were given the sign, you could use the inverse sign. It's just like this is more for when you're given the actual point, so you don't have to do any of that extra figuring stuff. This is why we have it set up with tangent. But no, you don't have to. Okay. All right. So, first example of two. Find the cosine, the tangent, and theta if sine is 3/5 and secant is positive. Okay, go for it. All right, so again, we got to figure out where we're at. So sine is positive, that's going to be quadrants 1 or 2. Secant is positive, that's going to be quadrants 1 or 4. So that means we're in, I had the chair the whole time. That means we're in quadrant number 1. Okay? So we're somewhere like that. There's our theta. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which means the missing side is 4, because it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Right? Okay? So the cosine, then, of theta would be 4/5. The tangent of theta would be 3/4. Colton, you had said, do we always have to use tangent? In this case, we wouldn't have to. We could use inverse sine to find our angle because we're in quadrant 4. Okay? No, it'll work for all the reference angles too. Yeah, but then it'll just give you your acute reference angle. But actually, let me tap brakes on that. You'd want to drop negatives on that too. Yeah. Because you want it to be a quadrant, you want an acute angle. Okay. Inverse tangent of 5 gets me 36.86989765. Agree? But that would also be if I did inverse sine.
Got breaks in here.
Hold up. Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because that's all the numbers that were on my cup. Okay. So theta then would be 8/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go 8/7. Yep. Oh, that's why. I'm like, why did I get a different angle? Because then if I did inverse sine of 0.75 instead of doing 3 divided by 5, and then I get the exact same one. I was all in confusion. I don't know if you saw it, the confusion in my eyes, but I was getting two different things for what should be the same angle. Okay. Try that one. Okay. So this tells me I'm in quadrant 1 or 4, right? This tells me that I'm in quadrant 3 or 4. So I'm in 4. Okay? So I'm going to draw myself a quadrant 4 triangle. This now is my theta prime, right? So if secant is 5/2, that means then that cosine is 2/5. So this would be 5 over 2 there. So my missing side is the square root of 21, right? But really I'm thinking about it as negative square root of 21 because we're in quadrant 4. Okay? So cosine of theta, we already have 2/5. Cosecant of theta would be negative 5 over the square root of 21, or negative 5 square root of 21 over 21. Okay. Oops. Theta prime is going to be inverse tangent of, so that would be opposite square root of 21 over 2. Grab my calculator. Inverse tangent square root 21 divided by 2. I get 66.421825152. Okay, but that's theta prime. I'm in quadrant 4. So I got to do what? $293. 5.6? No, 5.8. Yeah, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.